Hey guys, Agent here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Seoul Dynasty, their problems, their shortcomings and why they aren't doing amazingly in the Overwatch League. So if you're not familiar with the Seoul Dynasty, they were the old Lunatic High. They came into the Overwatch League looking as one of the favourites, at least top 3 with the other Korean teams. But now after the end of stage 1, they're sitting at 5th, which isn't great, especially considering what they were expected to come at now. They're expected to come at least 2nd or 3rd, and possibly even fighting the other 2 Korean teams for the first title, but they've just been really underwhelming since the beginning of the season. So we're just going to be talking about quickly what their problems is and what's going wrong. So, firstly, one of the problems I think they have is the lack of a good Tracer player, and this isn't to be mean on Munchkin and Bunny. They're both really good at Tracer, they are, but they're just not at the same caliber as Sabiobli, other players like Prophet and Birdering. They're both really good Tracers on London, and they're just not at the same level. And Tracer's super instrumental in this meta, and a good Tracer can carry games, and a good Tracer is necessary for you to be able to win championships now in this meta right now, because all the rest of the roster is really good on every other team. So Tracer is a huge role in the team. So yeah, the lack of a good Tracer player, this can be fixed by picking someone up really, or Munchkin and Bunny fully just grinding it out. I don't think they can get to the same level and same tier as Sabiobli, Prophet and Birdering, because they're really above everyone else in the entire world. But if not, you can pick someone up, and there are plenty of really good Tracers, not in Overwatch League. Stitch is one I can think of off the top of my head. He plays for Runaway, and he's really good Tracer, and also has the ability to go on to other hitscan characters if necessary. But there are also plenty of up-and-coming talent in Korea who you can maybe pick up to even go against these other really top-tier Tracers, because Korea is just, I've been watching Korea Contenders Trials, and some of the games that are absolutely crazy, and that's not even the tier 2 scene, that's half tier 2 and half tier 3 scene, which is crazy, and they're really good. Okay, so yeah, that's the first problem. The second problem is to do with the main tank players, and this is sort of a different problem than with the Tracer player, and it's just that they're not playing well when we know they have the ability to play well. Mira and Cookie are playing the main tanks. Zumba is mainly playing off tanks. Zephyr is a sub, but Zumba is basically always in and off tank, and Miro and Cookie kind of switch out. They go sometimes it's Cookie, sometimes it's Miro. Miro's really been in for the more important games and against the supposedly harder opponents, and they just haven't been playing great, the main tanks. Miro's been dying a lot, and that's something very uncharacteristic of him. He usually plays very aggressively, but he survives. He used to, back in Apex Season 2 and 3, he used to go in, play super aggressively, but then get out in his life, which is crazy. Some of the plays you saw him do. But nowadays he just goes in and dies, probably because the meta's kind of shifted towards bursting down tanks very quickly with the Zen Discord Orb and the Mercy damage boost. You just burst down the tanks super quickly, and I don't think Miro's got used to that playstyle, and you saw it in Apex Season 4 as well with the Discord Orb. Even just the Discord Orb, Miro was dying often, and GC Busan had his number. They were destroying him in pretty much every single map they played. He just got completely outplayed. As well as that, Cookie, he's really good, and I think he has the potential to be better than Miro even, because Miro used to be one of the best in the world and was considered the best Winston in the world for a very long time, but then he's just kind of fallen off now. But I think Cookie can become, Cookie is playing better than Miro in some instances, and I think he has a lot of potential, and I think with the right coaching, which is what they're doing right now, I think they have one coach just specifically who's a main tank coach, who's the best at tanks and sourcing and getting them to be playing better. And I think this is something that they need to really focus on. I don't think a new addition will really help them. I think you could bring in someone like Fisher, but Fisher's of course gone to LA Gladiators by now. But you could bring in maybe another main tank, but I don't think this is something that they need to bring someone in. I think that the problems that they're having are coachable with the right coach and with the right play styles, scrims, just practicing, getting better. I think it's very possible for the Seoul Dynasty's tank line to become much better and stop feeding, to be honest. Okay, yeah, so that's the second point. The third point is going on to shot calling issues. Shot calling in the team. We've heard from inside of the team that it's been kind of messy as such. Shot calling, it's very difficult who you want to be saying, who you want to be shot calling. Ideally, it'd be your main support who was on Mercy, but Mercy's flying around nowadays, and yeah, you also want your main tank to be called for shot calling most of the time, because main tank usually has the best view of the entire area. So with the right now they're having a bit of a problem sorting out who's shot calling, because Jaehong was the one who was shot calling, but he's playing flex support, and Toby ideally would be shot calling. And then Cookie is there as well. Miro is not really, doesn't take really much of a shot calling role, but Cookie, when he's playing, he does start shot calling and talking about targets and everything like that. But when they try and get Toby to shot call, he loses performance, and he's admitted this on streams and stuff. He plays worse when he has to shot call, and that's like anyone does, but he has a significant drop off in performance, and that comes with practice. He needs to practice shot calling more. But then they decided to play him as a shot caller in really important games. When they were going to London Spitfire, Guido was playing, and that meant that Jaehong, their team leader, wasn't on the team. He was and Toby was shot calling, which isn't ideal, to be honest, because Toby hasn't gotten used to it yet, and you should really be playing Guido in matches that are kind of easier to win, like against the Shanghai Dragons or the Florida Mayhem, both teams who are really struggling that season. You want to be playing, you want to be testing things out against those teams, not against London Spitfire in possibly the most instrumental game of the season, because if you won that game, you would have got through to the playoffs. Yeah, so that's one of the main points. I also think that Jaehong needs to take more of a anti-tilt role. We've heard that he's prone to tilt. Esker was really, really good at this. He kept the team super anti-tilt. And yeah, so guys, I think those are my 3 main points about why the Seoul Dynasty is losing. And yeah, so guys, thank you so much for watching. My Dallas Fuel video earlier in the week got so many views really quickly, which is really, really awesome. Thank you guys so much for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Have a discussion down in the comment section down below, and see ya.